Alright, what we're going to do now is check fuel pressure. We're checking for fuel, and there's a couple ways to do that. One of them is you can come over here to your fuel lines. And if you look at the Schrader valve right here, if you just look at the upper intake and chase the chrome lines down, you'll find your Schrader valve. For me, it's a little easier because I don't have AC or anything, so it's easier to find. I also have this nitrous line hooked up to the Schrader valve. But all you basically do is buy a gauge and plug it into, you screw it into here, and you can read your pressure. All you do is turn the key on. So if it's a new build, you might need to turn the key on and off a few times to let that pump prime the system. That way you get the proper pressure. And that's pretty cut and dry. If you got pressure at the Schrader valve, you know you have pressure to your injectors. And that's an easy way to, check your fuel. Another way is to come back to the back of the car and right in here in the driver's side in the trunk is this inertia switch. Now all you have to do is pull back on your covering, come to the inertia switch, and what I've done is you just reach down here, and there's this little link from the main harness that comes back here to the trunk that's under here, right here. And this just hooks into the bottom of the inertia switch. The switch will be on this side of the inertia switch when it's plugged in. All you need is to push that off with your thumb. It pops right out, and that stops power going to the fuel pump. To prove this, I'll turn the key, and if you listen, you won't hear the pump at all. Listen. All you hear is the solenoids clicking. So now you know the fuel pump's not going to run. I can now turn the ignition on, and I can roll it over, and it will not use fuel. It'll use a little bit of fuel just from the residual pressure that's inside the lines. But now what you're going to do is, okay, so the quick and easy way to do this is just come over here to your throttle body, and there's a vacuum line that runs to your crankcase to pull vacuum on the crank. And the way it does it is it comes from the throttle body in this brass fitting, and it comes down to a tube back here in your filler neck on the valve cover. Now mine is reversed. The stock valve covers and most valve covers will have the fill neck over here, so the line will run from here to here. But I bought the wrong valve covers, and I just made do with what I have, so bear with me. Easiest way to do it, that way you don't have to take these off, you don't have to you don't have to take anything bolted off, is simply pull this hose off of here. Alright, now I've pulled it off. I ended the video because it was being a little snug, but basically you just pull this line off, and this gives you a direct opening into your throttle body. Now you take your basic carb cleaner. I bought this Canon just because of the actual size, and carb cleaner, throttle body cleaner, it's the same thing. It's going to have enough into it to get the engine turned over. Basically you just insert the tube in here, and you don't want very much, because if you get too much, it'll start puddling down. It'll come down your intake tube and just drip all over. That should be enough. Now I'm going to set the camera down. I'm going to walk over and turn the key and see if it fires up. If it fires up, that means that I have a fuel problem because the fuel pump is disengaged, and it shouldn't be sending fuel to the injectors. Now if you listen, you won't hear the fuel pump. Let's see what it does. See, it fired up a little bit, so let's try a little more carb cleaner. Not too much. It's like I said, it'll just drip down the filter, which it's already doing. And for me, I still got nothing. And for me, the car still does not fire, so it is not a fuel problem. It should not be, because I took the fuel out of the equation, because I turned off the pump, so it's not activating the injectors, and it still doesn't fire. So that's how you would check for fuel. If it fired up with the fuel pump disengaged and spraying carb cleaner, that would give the engine the fuel it needs to fire up and run a little bit. For me, I think it might be my valve train. Maybe my valve train's too tight. Not sure. Anyway, hope this helps some people. I can correct this video if I've done anything wrong, and my goal is just to help other people, and hopefully I can figure out my own problems. Thanks.